Christopher One, happy Monday to you, May 10th, 2010. Joseph James, schooltrade.com. Here's your live team recap. Hope you guys had a good time in the room this morning. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Happy Mother's Day up there to all you moms out there. Hope you guys had a good time on Sunday. Let's see here. Before we talk about the trades we took today, had another one of our big winning days in the room this morning. I want to remind you guys about the link below the video. Right below the video is a link to our blog. That blog has all of our articles, all our videos, and don't forget, subscribe to the blog on the right side, and then use that search box there, guys. That search box will make sure you always know where all the right stuff is. So subscribe to the blog, then we get all the new stuff, and then don't forget about that search box that we can easily find all the materials we add, sometimes 3 times a day. Lots of new videos there going up all the time. Let's see how we do here. 2, 4, 6, 7 total trades. You can see we opened up the day with a full stop there, 24 ticks out of our pocket. But as you can see, we made it back there with ease. Another big day here in the trade room this morning on May 10th. You can see 175 ticks. I'm sorry, 115 ticks. 1175 was our total today. So another $1,000 day here in the room. Only 4 contracts traded so far. We've got close to $6,200 for the month of May so far, guys. Our goal here is $10,000 this month. It looks like we're pretty darn close to hitting that goal here a little bit earlier than we planned on. But as you can see, 1 loss, the rest from winners here, back and forth on crude and gold, the euro. We'll bring you guys up to pace on that a little bit later on in the video, and we'll keep you guys posted throughout the rest of the month here. What's the most important thing that happened today? Well, today was a Monday, but more importantly, today was a Monday that happened after a very volatile week. Last week's price action was probably some of the most volatile we've seen in maybe some of our careers. Now, seeing that 1,000-point drop on Wednesday, on Thursday last week, we knew, of course, this Monday may have been another one of those black Mondays where we were worried about if we had some Eastern Asian news over Sunday night. We may wake up here in the U.S. On Monday morning with our things dropping like stones, but wasn't exactly that case this morning. We had kind of a leveled off market. We'll take a look at that here in a second, but we really didn't know what to expect, right? Of course, we had no news today. With the volatility from last week, and Mondays can sometimes be quiet, we really didn't know what to expect. So we saw Obama speaking late in the morning this morning. That wasn't too big of a deal. But the biggest thing was we followed our dollar index first. And this is a great example this morning. Let's go over the dollar real quick. And let's take a look at the dollar and how it showed up this morning on our charts. Now, as you guys know, we're going to open up our slower time from the dollar first. And when I open this up, you can clearly see here we have, of course, these double tops and double bottoms from last week. Right, this sideways range from last Friday. But you'll notice this morning, as of this morning, we had tumbled here to the downside, bounced off those lows, and now we were coming right back up, right, trying to get up into that bracket there. Now again, at about 8 o'clock this morning when we opened up our charts, at this point, all we saw was half of this move to the back to the upside. So this morning what happened was we had dropped out of our sideways range in the dollar, and then we began to rather aggressively start to trend to the upside. Now, normally when we see a big trending environment like that in the dollar, we're usually going to think to ourselves, boy, we have a big day ahead of us. And we actually did end up getting a big day ahead of us, which was correct. But the ATR gave us a little bit of some conflicting signals here. And as you can see in the lower right-hand corner now, if you follow me down here, right, this is the ATR, the average true range on that same market, the DX market. Now, notice how we have this big amount of range here from previously, right, on Friday. And then this morning we can see here at 9:30, right, we're kind of right in the lower third, right, the lower third of this sideways or should I say range here for the ATR. Now again, I'm not going to read the average true range exactly what the number is, right? The actual reading of the average true range indicator is not really the most important thing for me. Most important thing is looking at this thing of where it is right now compared to where it was before. And you can see here on the average true range in the lower right hand corner here, we were very low, right? Average true range was dropping, very choppy range. And so what that told us was that even though we saw this nice trending environment in the dollar, and even though we were very excited to see that, we still had to be aware that that low average true range may rear its ugly head at us a little bit later in the morning. And I think we're going to see that first trade of the morning be caught victim because of it. So again, we knew because the dollar was trending to be expecting a good day here. But we also knew that because the ATR was very flat, that we had to be careful, right? It wasn't going to be as easy as it was last week. Let's take a look at it here. First trade of the morning. Now again, this of course could be a good example of just how easy it is, right, to get wrapped up in a very low ATR, a tight trading range environment here. Because you can see here 8:50, about 30 minutes after we had checked our vital signs through the dollar, we took our first trade of the morning here on crude. Now 10 minutes before the hour of 9 o'clock, this is a two-step. It's going to go up, test these highs, We looked, of course, for a breaker pattern long there above 77.95. However, though, we had less than 5 ticks to 78 even. That big round number overhead is what kept us out of the long trade here. Now, whenever we look for a long trade and that's disqualified, we'll then automatically look for the short trade for the reversal. That's exactly what we did here. Around 77.80 here was that swing low. Right, we broke below that swing low for your two-step pattern short. Now, again, you can see this is counter trend here, right, bouncing off these lows. And you can see, of course, right, we made the right decision. I mean, the market ended up coming back to the downside here. We made the right decision. We were trading on the right side of the market here. But again, that little bit of indecisiveness really pays off here, because you can see what happened was we got in short here, right, just below that swing low level. We saw lots and lots and lots of sellers there. In fact, I was laughing at the fact that we got stopped out on this, because it was literally one of those trades you looked at it and said, how on earth did this thing get stopped out? Well, this is one of those situations where sometimes stops happen. You know, you kind of get the bad or the short end of the stick here, the bad bounce, and you can see here on this short trade we got exactly that. So we took out 24 ticks out of our pocket before we even really got started this morning. And as always, right, stops do happen, but you got to react to those stops the right way. And we got back on the horse, we followed our rules, and now, of course, for our next trade here, just about 45 minutes later, about a half an hour later, 9:15. Just for the U.S. Open, we're now trending up here. We break above the previous day's open here at 1199.6. We break above the previous day's open. We make our swing high. Now, there was 2 entries here, guys, 1 and then 2. I took the second one here. Okay, but you could have taken the first one too. The first one was fine as well. Didn't grab the first one. I had to wait to jump into the second one. But basically, you're looking for those swing high levels there, those blue lines, and those will be automatically updated in your charts for you. So use those blue lines there. Just be, of course, aware you got to use your rules above those blue lines. We checked our rules line up, and of course, here's the second entry up top here. This is the breaker pattern long that we took at 9:12 to this breaker pattern long, 1200.3. We took our first profit target at +4. Move our stop up to entry +1, came back down to stop us out at +1. We get a lucky bounce there at +12, at +2. So 2 off at 4, 2 off at 2. There is 12 ticks, or at $10 a tick, 120 USD. All right. So on the second trade there, we made about half of it back. Right, made about half that loss back in the second trade. And in the third trade here, we get into a nice groove here on gold for back-to-back winners on gold. 9:45 here now. So about a half an hour later, we had to wait for the 9:30 alarm to go off. Wait for 9:30 market to open up. At about 9:35, we begin looking for more patterns here. You can see the short-term trend here was down on gold right now. You can tell that by looking at the slope of that trigger line, that thin yellow line here, right? That's the slope right there. That tells us the downward slope, downward trending environment. Now you can see the first move here, right? The first move came about 97 even. This first move had no big money sellers to convict, right, for conviction in this market here. So we didn't take the trade because we didn't see the rules line up. We had to wait patiently, and then of course about 5-6 minutes later, we got another breaker pattern short here. We break below the support, break below the swing low, and there's your breaker short, 1195.6. We took our +4 target filled, stopped to entry -1, got our 8 target filled. Then we started ratcheting down, right, trailing our stop, locking another +4 on there, so +4, +8, +4, 2 off at 4, 1 off at 8, 1 off at 4, 20 ticks, or 200 USD, as you can see there, guys, for the third trade of the morning. All right, so we made all the money back at that point, and plus some there, as we put 20 ticks in our pocket